All right, so we're just going to end on this episode here. We want to talk about just some overall picks and people that we, potentially you should keep an eye out for in the season, whether they're waiver wire guys or guys that might get dropped or some trade bait early on in the season. So, Josh, if you want to throw a name out there.
Yeah, I actually just mentioned him not too long ago when we were talking about George Kittle. Marquise Goodwin and Deebo Samuel, kind of both of them, because the ball has to go to someone besides George Kittle. He can't get 80 targets a game or 40 targets a game. And you just want to see how it plays out in the first game of the season. See who gets those targets from Jimmy Garoppolo. That's just one of mine, but I think Marquise Goodwin or Deebo Samuel.
So I'm going to throw out Jamison Crowder from the Jets. I really feel like that he's only 26 years old. He runs good routes. He's a nice possession receiver. Last year he had like 800 yards or something like that. No, he only had 300 yards last year. It was the year before he had like 800 or 700 yards as like a slot type of receiver. So I just feel like in the right offense, and I feel like he can be like a safety net. He can be a tight end version of, that safety net for Sam Darnold, especially because Darnold doesn't like to throw the deep pass. So I really feel like that's someone that he's either going to get a lot of touchdowns and low yards or a lot of yards and receptions and just no touchdowns. So I really feel like he's a good sleeper to have. You got anyone else?
In full point PPR, I really agree. I think we were talking about this at your draft, actually.
Yeah.
About when you were going to take him, because I actually thought you were, because you're a Jets fan.
Yep.
So I was like, when are you going to take him?
Yep.
But my next one is another wide receiver. Actually, it's kind of like a whole wide receiver group.
They're so deep. They're so deep. So yeah,
it's actually the Buffalo Bills, and it depends what kind of format you are playing in. But if you are playing in a standard league, I would try to get John Brown if he is on your waiver wire, just to see what happens. Because Josh Allen loves to throw that deep ball, and John Brown, he's quick. He's a quick guy, and he's not an awful receiver. He is a little bit above average.
He just wasn't made for that Ravens offense, so that's why it just didn't work.
No, he wasn't made with Lamar Jackson's Ravens offense. Joe Flacco, those first 4 weeks last year, he did very well, and then it's kind of Lamar Jackson took over, done. And then whichever one you feel, these are both very possession receivers, Zay Jones or Cole Beasley. One of those safety net type of receivers that can get you 6 yards here, but if they're catching 5-6 passes for that many yards, that's still a 10-point game. If they get 6 catches for 40 yards, 10-point solid flex play, or maybe even a touchdown here or there.
Yep. Another one I want to bring up is if you're in a full PPR league, Hines from the Colts. I really feel like that if Marlon Mack is going to do the overall running, I really feel like Hines is going to be a nice safety net. I think that's a trend right now for these sleeper picks. Hines is going to be a safety net for Brissett. I don't know if he's going to have if he's going to be able to build that rapport with Hilton deep in the field, so he's going to be able to dump off it to Hines, or if they're in the red zone inside the 20, so just far enough to have him in there that you can maybe break a tackle and get a touchdown here and there. So Hines, I feel like that'd be nice, someone to keep your eye out on. Yeah, one more. Let's do one more.
All right, one more. All right, then my next one will be a player on the Los Angeles Rams, actually. The actual backup to Todd Gurley, not Darrell Henderson. I don't believe he is the actual backup there. I think it is Malcolm Brown. I think he is the guy. If you think about it, they held Gurley and him both out in the 3rd preseason game at the same time, and the 4th. But Darrell Henderson was still running plays and playing snaps. So I think he is the backup. They signed him They made it a point to re-sign him this offseason. They matched his contract that he got offered from someone else, so I think he's the true backup to Todd Gurley.
And I'm going to go with my last one. This is a super sleeper one just because the overall running back committee on the Patriots is so deep, but Damian Harris. I really feel like that he just has that big body potential deep in the red zone, that he could be like what Rex Burkhead was last year or the year before, whenever he snapped. It was last year, I think, before he got injured, or the year before he got injured. Point is, I really feel like he can take that role of the Burkhead, like inside. When Sony Michel just had like 5 or 6 in a row, he's a little tired. You don't want James White in the goal line, so you bring in Damian Williams. Boom, there's a touchdown. And so I just feel, or Damian Harris, sorry. So I think there's just chances right there for him to just not be a top 10 running back, obviously, but just to have him on your bench for certain games, or maybe if James White gets hurt, so they need someone to step up and be a nice backup to Sony Michel.
No, I do like Damian Harris. Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Williams because everyone wants to talk about him, which we didn't have him on our top 10, by the way.
Well, LaShawn McCoy, this is out of, we shouldn't even be talking about this in the show, but I think LaShawn McCoy is going to be that starter. Maybe not week 1, maybe not week 2, But Andy Reid drafted LaShawn McCoy. LaShawn McCoy will be the running back one in Kansas City. You heard it here first.
There you go.
Boom. But back to Damian Harris. I really like Damian Harris, and he is. If Sony Michel gets hurt, he might never get the job back because Damian Harris is that solid of a
player. Everyone's talking about Josh Jacobs out of the draft, and I was like, did you not watch Alabama all year? Damian Harris is my dude. So yeah, I don't like the overall fit for him as like a starter or a star yet, but I do feel like if something happens to Michel or James White, he could definitely step up and not give it back.
Patriots running backs, LeGarrette Blount had 18 touchdowns in that offense.
Exactly.
So if you are the two down back in that offense, you have high upside TD potential, high upside touchdown potential. So exactly, I think that wraps up the show, though, right?
Yep, that is it. So